And welcome back to the State Hockey Centre at Jepp's Cross, where the temperature has dropped like a stone in that game. It is now very, very chilly tonight. The men are out there warming up. I think they're about to get ready for the 5 minutes and get ready to go. So should see a different game to the one we've just seen. This one should be a lot closer.
Yeah, I think so. I think both teams are pretty evenly matched. I think some good matchups, Scott Germain and Curtis Wilson, I'm looking forward to in the midfield. Both centre-half players, I think, will go a long way to controlling the match. So it's an exciting match.
And one thing we talked about, again, last time you were on commentary with us, we talked about short corner routines, and you talked about we had a very, very good injector last time.
Yeah.
And apparently, his name escapes me right now, but Port Adelaide have a young man who can flick it over 100 k's an hour.
Cameron Joyce, he's very hard to miss. He's a very tall man, good, big long levers.
Well, that's going to be part of it.
Absolutely, he flicks the ball very well. So
I'm looking forward to seeing this. Yeah. I want to see what 100k an hour hockey ball looks like.
Yeah, the person on the post doesn't like to see what it looks like, but yeah.
Yeah, the goalkeeper wearing 2 sets of pads.
Yeah, he can certainly let the ball go. So I think important Forestville don't concede too many corners.
I think he's just warming up behind us, or I can certainly see him behind us. And Forestville, we've seen Forestville already tonight, and they had a very, very good drag flicker as well, I think. So 2 teams with very, very good short corner routines.
Yes.
So that's going to be something to watch.
Certainly. The speed of the Port Adelaide forward line, I think, is probably something that'll be critical to this match as well, and some good defence from Forestville. And I look forward to maybe Forestville on the rebound looking to score goals. I think might be the go for them.
I think we should be in for an absolute ripper. The temperature up here might be dropping, but I think temperatures will rise once we get going on the field. I'm just going to have a look. Here we are in 5 minutes. We are in 5 minutes before they start getting ready, so they're going to get ready for their technical shortly. So, there's a big difference between the men's and the women's hockey that we've seen as the start of these games, and we expect this one to come out at 100 miles an hour. And obviously, your brother's coaching the Port Adelaide side. Can you give us any insight into what his thoughts will be?
Yeah, I think he'll certainly likes to play a very structured type of match and control the tempo. They play fast at times, and other times really just control the tempo around the back. He'll look certainly to Cameron Joyce, the drag flicker that we spoke about, to certainly control the troops and control the tempo of the match, and whether they fall away, whether they full press, they'll certainly play a very structured form of hockey.
So we've seen, this is our first chance to see Port Adelaide under the lights, and the women we got what we expected from them. Port Adelaide are a different kettle of fish as far as the men go. They're not as dominant as the women are, but they're certainly there or thereabouts for finals. They made semi-finals, I think, last year.
Yeah.
So they'll want to push even more on that. And we look forward to this one. This one should be an absolute barn burner. So we will be right back with you after a short break, and we'll be back in time for the first pushback for the second game of the night.
Been at Pecca for 25 years. Club's like family now. The friends have become brothers.
Yeah, it's what winter's about, is going out and putting on your club colours and having fun with, I guess, your winter friends.
They took me on when I came over new to Adelaide. Didn't know many people, so yeah, to me they've become more like a family than anything.
It means a lot, actually. It's a lot of good fun.
See Premier League hockey in real time.
In real time.
In real time.
Good receive there by Simon Well.
And in front of the goal mouth.
Every goal.
Every goal. Every goal.
The ball penetrating run, open circle, 1-2 play.
Every save.
Every save.
James Mitten has the opportunity. Great save.
Get straight into the circle, off a stick, and well saved by Amy Hammond.
Every tackle. Every tackle.
Gets the attack into the circle. Nice tackle there.
Live.
Right here on Hockey SA.
Right here on Hockey SA.
Runs with pace. Into battery 2. Looks for a quick shot off the back post.
Net 25 here.
Get around it. Get around it.
And we are back as Craig and I desperately try and stay warm on this chilly Friday night. We are definitely now in winter. It certainly happened, but as we get ready for this pushback, just let you know that 2017 Live, Love, Play hockey campaign is now on. Hockey SA want to know stories from all over the hockey community. You can see these stories on the social media channels during National Hockey Week, which is coming up shortly. Check out the Hockey SA website for more details as we are underway.
Oh, here we go. We can see the speed already. Oh,
There
Dylan
we
Edge,
are,
well
off and
done.
running already, and Port Adelaide will look to have the first circle entry. That one's just got away from him. Of course, we're seeing the return on a Friday night of Sam Carr playing in goal for Forestville, the Bear.
Saw the speed there, number 30 for Port Adelaide, Dylan Edge. I think his first season at Port Adelaide, and he's been very impressive thus far. I've had the misfortune of playing against him.
This one has taken off at a rate of knots. It's Katrina from SA Hockey comes and gives us both some nice blankets to rug up with. I feel like an Adelaide frozen
Not my style.
No, but it'll be great. This one, if we take a breath, this one has started out incredibly quickly. He's certainly not hard to miss, is he? The big fella for Port Adelaide.
Very good ball handler as well, Cameron. So I'm sure expecting to see a lot of involvement from him in the match.
It's a wonderful run down that left-hand side, but free hit to Port Adelaide.
Just the body obstruction there. I'm not convinced. I'd like to see that one let go.
Forestville will manage to get out of their defensive half again, but again, Port Adelaide's pressure put that pressure on very, very quickly, very early on.
Tyson Schubert open in the pocket down here, just missed the pass. Good little touch from Dan Haynes, knocking the ball over the sideline there.
Things have slowed down and settled down a little bit. As per usual, we are noticing this trend that the games start off at a hectic pace and then they settle down. Hutchins will look to launch Forestville.
Connor Hutchins, ex-Woodville player, but I think he's going to be very important for Forestville if they're to go a long way to winning this match. He's going to have to play very well.
So Stephen, I was going to say Stephen Young is the only one who's sporting the long sleeves in the Forestville side, but there is another one. Sean Burgess decided he doesn't want to go with the short sleeves, and Port Adelaide will look at get another circle entry, but Young will clear that one out. If I remember rightly from the last time I saw Forestville play, Young played very well in that game. He'll have to rise again, and he finds Burgess on this right-hand side. He'll look to take on Billy Robbins, one-on-one. Robbins wins that one.
I really like his game too, Billy Robbins on the outside. Obviously a big body and delivers the ball beautifully. Forestville off to a pretty good start, held I think a lot of possession.
Nice little reverse pass in, but Port Adelaide will manage to keep that out, and they have got a break on. They are 3-on-3 at the moment, and made it 4-on-3.
Yep.
There's good pace through the middle if he can find him, and unfortunately not. And Young does a good enough job. Looked to release, but couldn't quite make it out. Nick Fitzgerald was just dispossessed, but Port Adelaide will get to go again.
I like that Fitzgerald may have the man bun going there, I think.
That's a proper man bun. That's a huge man bun he's got going on there. It's no Craig Victory man bun. The less said about that, the better.
I agree.
That one is thrown in and was brought under control. So our umpires tonight, we have Jordan Rind on the near side. Sam Fitzgerald on the far side. Forestville will look to break out of defence again. He'll just stop and get his head up and then go back. Look into the middle to Young. A lot of their play comes through Young. Turns to go back, but there was nothing there. Port Adelaide putting good pressure on.
They set that press very nicely then, Port Adelaide. Good structure.
Well, there's another man bun entered the fray. Sam Thomas.
Looking forward to that. You can just see Scott Germain and Curtis Wilson there together in the middle of the park. I think whoever wins that battle, as I mentioned, is going to go a long way to getting good outcomes for both teams.
Again, struggling to see the numbers. The numbers need to be a different colour on the Port Adelaide shirts, I think, not white or black.
Might need the patch on the back, maybe.
That could work.
A bit of contrast.
Probably the first time Port Adelaide have ever had to think about TV for the uniforms, but Forestville get a break on. He's got the reverse there. That's wonderful work back, but it's still there. The reverse just drops without any danger, really. Worked really hard to make that interception on the back.
See how quickly the ball can transition. Some powerful players in this match, so it'll be he's one of them on the ball now.
Both sides will. Finds a lovely ball out to that right-hand side.
We're talking about Cameron Joyce. Sorry, Dave, that can flick at 100 miles an hour, but he can also throw them, 60 metres. It's a big weapon back there.
I was about to ask whether he had an overhead flick in his arsenal. No surprise, really, then, to see him playing in that sweeper role. As the ball comes out, and there we see another string to his bow. He manages to make... something's happening. There's a green card for someone.
Sam's found a green card.
It's a Port Adelaide player. Must be for something he said. That one goes through everyone. Well, Port Adelaide will have the free hit. Must have said something the umpire didn't like. Good stick control, and he manages to find a Port Adelaide outlet. He's isolated a little bit at the moment, but he's done a good job. Still going. Forestville managed to turn it over though. Stand firm out there on the right-hand side, but Forestville will be able to build from the back. That's a lovely weighted pass. Burgess can get hold of it, and this could be an interesting battle down the right-hand side between Burgess and Marino.
Interestingly, Sam Fitzgerald has his brother playing for Port Adelaide today, Nick. Forestville sticking with the 4 structure, which I think is smart against Port Adelaide. Play them around the outsides. See Port playing a bit of a fall away.
Yeah, they're not pressing as fast as we were in the first half, and they're happy to let them play around the back.
I'd say get them into a certain area, you'll see a pretty quick transition into a bit of a swarming press. It's well done.
Managed to find a pass through, and it's still bouncing around there, and now Forestville have put good pressure on. And that will be a 16-yard hit, but the high pressure from Forestville, once they get it in, they're working hard. 10 minutes gone already in this one. Flown by tonight. It's our first time to see that overhead flick, and that does go all the way over halfway. And that's a lovely inside ball, and now Port have got the numbers in the circle entry, and they throw it across just behind the attacker, and that will go out for a Forestville ball. Nope, a Port ball.
Everyone just gravitates towards the goal. If we can sort of just take a step back there, I think Port could have had a pretty simple finish.
Good intercept, and he'll get his head down and off he'll go, but managed to win that one back.
It's Well umpired. I think, sometimes
We'll go
you hear
back to
that
Cameron
click.
Joyce.
Certainly
And it
agreeing
looks like
there.
there's another card coming here. That one to Burgess. So the umpires have decided that they're clamping down early on. So is that 10 aside, or has he managed? Did we get the Port player back on? I think it's probably been 2 minutes
Yeah,
since.
he's back on the field. They did a direct interchange with the player that came off. They've got there back to 11 Port.
So when they decide to go, they go. Both teams, when they decide to push the gas pedal, they're off and running.
I think both very similarly matched teams, Dave. So it's going to be an excellent game tonight.
You were saying that they were 3rd and 4th in the table, possibly.
Yeah. Forestville is certainly a team that are building. As you say, Port have been around the final series for a little while and looking to go one further.
Come out to Billy Robbins and he'll get his head up and
Loves the slide pass. Well, good ball inside.
just couldn't quite get that under control, Luke Larwood. We'll come back to Joyce. Joyce will get his head up and look to try and pick a pass, and Forestville will just sit off him and make him play that pass through.
Harry Johns just missed the mark there.
And goes all the way back to the keeper, Patrick Dodd.
Well done.
That's a lovely little slide pass from Robbins, and just couldn't get it under control. That's twice that he's managed to find Larwood, and Larwood hasn't managed to trap it. Now Forestville can work into midfield. Turns again, but again Port Adelaide surround him, and he can only go backwards to get his outlet. Well, come across to Crowhurst. He'll just ship it on down the line to Burgess. Robbins will let that go. And they'll rebuild from a 16-yard hit.
As you say, we've seen Robbins a few times. He gets the ball on the left-hand side. He loves the slide pass. Beautiful, beautiful technique. Forestville sweeper got to be aware of that and make those intercepts. Did have a Facebook message from Sam Freeman today, Dave, who mentioned it's his first game back from a calf injury as well.
The curse of the calf injury.
Yeah. Similar ages as well.
Dylan Evans has noticed the new fences. He didn't have a chance, and just away to our left we see the assembled masses. There is a lot of people out considering the temperature.
Absolutely.
There they are.
To see.
We see Paul Finney there enjoying a drink after his successful game.
People enjoying the Hockey SA canteen as well.
Tony Appleyard is still going. Says 5 great players from Whyalla tonight. So there is a number, and yeah, it looks like brothers are playing. I know Nick Marino is a Whyalla boy, and Stephen Young. We have somebody, actually have a rugby fan watching. Asked what's a green card. The green card is 2 minutes, isn't it, for low level stuff?
Yes, correct.
But it can be 5 minutes, depending on which one.
Yeah, so certainly, but a yellow card, definite 5 minutes, 2 minutes for a lesser infringement.
So you got lots of questions from this young man. We'll maybe go through some of them at half time for you, Henry. I might just send you some messages. Ben Fraser saying, don't jump the fence, it's a $100 fine. We're not quite up to that level yet, I don't think.
Turn from Curtis Wilson. We need to look into this story of the Forestville goalkeeper wearing the Stoke City.
Yeah, we do need some
well,
information on that. the Narracourt boy. Again, we're seeing a battle down that right-hand side. Burgess has got his hands full. He's going to have to take on either Billy Robbins or Nicholas Marino. Both of them are getting into Burgess. He's going to have a torrid night tonight, I think.
Certainly Port, their defence known for their physicality.
It's hardly surprising with your brother's nickname.
Absolutely. Certainly likes to build his structure based on very good defence.
Backed himself into a corner and then managed to get his way out of it, and he's still going and gets the free hit for his work.
I really like the way he goes about his game, Curtis Wilson. I think he's a fantastic hockey player. Co-captain, I believe, of Forestville.
Yeah, with Jordan Flavel. Just couldn't get that one under control. That one slid across, but
that's the more like it.
It was intercepted, but Port Adelaide will get the free hit, and off they go on. There is the numbers there. Just couldn't get past the last man in Young, and Young will send it down the line.
There we go, there's those two again, Jermaine and Wilson.
Jermaine is the captain of Port Adelaide. A big, big loud whistle there. Umpire unhappy with that challenge. It's the first time as well that we've seen I don't want to say it's rough, but there's certainly a bit of feeling in this game, more than we've seen on any of the PL Fridays. There's certainly a lot of feeling in this one.
Yeah, it's good. When the balls are under dispute, you need to get your body on the line and get your body into those contests.
I think through the early stages of the live broadcast, a lot of the players realised they were on camera and behaved themselves a little bit, but started to see it last week with the Woodville game. The players really starting to play elite hockey now, and it is the elite hockey in South Australia, so starting to see them play for sheep stations now.
It's certainly technically a non-contact sport, but a lot of physical contact goes on.
I don't think they mind it, to be honest.
And it's great for the...
I'm sure our viewers enjoy it as well. That's a lovely ball inside, and he just couldn't get it under control, and Port Adelaide will dump it out to this right-hand side. Nice ball down the line to Larwood. Larwood manages to get that one under control. Now we'll go back to Joyce. Not giving Joyce the time to get that overhead flick going.
That's smart play. Notice from the 16s that Forest will have someone working the mark with Joyce, so he can't go straight over the top. And that's good coaching from Paul Blinkeron.
So that one is thrown in.
Well done by Connor Hutchins, is now starting to read that slide pass.
So this one has settled down into quite an interesting little battle. That one just didn't come under control, unfortunately. Minutes gone, and again they're putting Joyce under pressure and making him come out to the left and the right and not allowing him the time to get that overhead flick going, but Robbins will start to move forward, finds a lovely little pass, has an outlet pass if he can find it. Shut down by Forestville, so he's just going to keep going and try and work to that byline. He's still going, still got the ball, throws it into that circle. Forestville managed to clear, so Forestville will be aware, Paul Blinkeron will be aware of Cameron Joyce.
Yeah, certainly would have been in his planning.
Certainly won't want to give away a short corner. I'm not saying that you go out there and give them away on purpose, but you'd certainly be thinking about being extra careful about giving them away when there's a weapon like Cameron Joyce out there. It's a nice ball out to Scott Germain. That one will just come all the way through, and the Bear will kick that one out with his right foot.
Yeah, Curtis again carving his way through in the midfield. A great tackle from Harry Johns. Well done. He's also a big lad, Curtis Wilson. Pretty similar size to Joyce. Interesting to see the penalty corner variations. Yet to see one.
Yeah, he was the one who he was their drag flicker when we watched them last time.
He was, yeah. Well done, Dylan Edge.
Lovely little turn. The umpire waited to see whether there was any advantage. There wasn't, so Port Adelaide will have the free hit just outside the circle. Curtis Wilson, in his claim to fame, is he's proud to have influenced other players to wear headbands. Make the byline there, and it comes back across, but Forestville will manage to clear. Robbins is tenacious once he gets anywhere near you. He doesn't want to let go. He's like a limpet. And that one goes overhead. It's all about the control now. There was players in there.
I really like that from Hutchins to get himself forward and search, even though he's a defender.
That pass just couldn't find a target. That's a nice little pass out to this right-hand side to Burgess. He'll throw it back inside.
That's certainly not what you want throwing into the contest there in the midfield. Paul won't be very happy about that.
Talk about contests. So there's a contest. The stick is stuck between the legs. That one will just be kicked away by Patrick Dodd, 19-year-old from Port Elliot. Moved from Seacliff this year. He's been in the competition for 2 years. He's a real estate agent.
Wow, there you go.
So he'll be hoping the bubble doesn't burst. It's just over 10 minutes to go, and we remain scoreless. Two very, very equally matched sides. Forestville will get another circle entry. It's still in there, and Port Adelaide trying to clear it. Get the free hit, so that will allow them to come out. Harry Johns works for Hockey SA.
He has a coaching role, works with some of the junior programs. He does a very good job.
And that's where the comeback does work, when you need to wait for your support. And that's a lovely little reverse pass. There's some good stick work from Port Adelaide, and that one is another circle entry, but again, they managed to get back, but it will be a free hit to Forestville. So that one is just intercepted. Forestville will come away with that one.
To see a bit more contrast in the movement from Forestville as they outlet all a little bit one way, moving with the ball.
Young again, but he's under pressure. He turns out of that pressure lovely, and he will look for a pass, and he fires that all the way through. Good trap, and now he can get his head up and try and look for a circle entry. And Forestville managed to pull it back and will again look for it. There's a nice wall of black and white shirts there, though.
Robbins again.
They can't get in. Johns will look to come away. Look to slip a pass through, but Wilson manages to get his stick on the ball. He'll just flick it over the top and down that line. Goes out of play.
Bit of sting starting to maybe go out of the game a little bit.
It has slowed down somewhat. Joyce will play on. Look to flick over, but has been intercepted. Might put themselves under a little bit of pressure that wasn't needed. It's done well, though, and will win the ball. So, good work from Joyce. He'll play that down the line. Both teams have done very, very well at shutting it down when it's got in and around the danger areas. I think he's given the free hit for high.
Both teams are looking to more balance, I think, going into attack and look at getting in at the fringes a little bit more. Playing away from the spare defender.
That's a wonderful tackle again from Billy Robbins, who's played well.
Oh,
Put him under a little bit of pressure.
There. Yeah, I thought it could have gone a bit earlier. I think my brother did too. Had him mill out there.
Another intercept, but just couldn't get it under control, so he gets away with it somewhat. Dale Stephen. Again, Joyce will get his head up and look to find his outlets. One of them is Robbins, who'll come back to Joyce. Has a little bit more time. Just slap that through.
There it is, lovely.
Johns has managed to make his way into the circle, and now he will shoot, and the Bear just gets his big left paw on it. Keep that one out, and we have our first short corner of the night, and our first chance. I was going to say our first chance to see Cameron Joyce. Looked like he was going to come off, but he's just going down to have a chat with Cheney.
Getting his info on what corner Cheney wants to use. Okay, a bit of a cardinal sin from the Forestville defender there, just staying stationary with the ball.
So this is our first chance to see big Cameron Joyce. So this is the fellow we were talking about. Has a drag flick that goes over 100 k's an hour.
Yes.
So make sure you keep your eyes peeled for this one, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a big test for Sam Carr and those players who've been told they have to stay on the posts.
Yeah, Forestville might even have a double post here to protect both sides of the goal. We'll see.
So there is the injection, and the trap is missed. So after all that build-up, we don't get to see Cameron Joyce. That's probably my fault. I apologise, ladies and gentlemen. But Port Adelaide managed to get the circle entry anyway. Story of my life, anticipation, and then I let everyone down. But Forestville will come away, and Wilson will turn inside. He's managed to thread a lovely pass through, but
Sam seen something there.
illegally again.
Interestingly, Forestville did go with a double post, so I wonder if Mark Victory was having a look at that. It might be worth a variation instead of just going with Cameron. We'll see.
Be an incentive not to miss training, wouldn't it? As Cameron goes way over the top. Good control.
Oh,
He's given the first one.
that's his brother, so
Oh, that's a nice interception, but no, he's come off his foot. Jacob Evans. Port Adelaide have managed to get men behind the ball a lot quicker than Forestville would like, so it's taken away the counter-attack opportunity.
it's certainly a disciplined team that can do that and get numbers back behind the ball as quickly as can. Sometimes hard to get your forwards back behind the ball.
Wilson will look to thread a pass through and just couldn't get it under control. Paul Lynch was out there, just couldn't trap it. Helen Harvey saying she loves the paw work by the Bear. I'm glad it's caught on.
Edge again. Playing a bit of a link roll there between the midfield and the forward line. Looking very dangerous already.
At the moment it's a battle of the defences, and it's which attack can break down the defence early enough, and Port managed to get another circle entry, but that's come off a foot. And Young will be able to clear for Forestville. Battle of attrition, and we go into 5 minutes to go for this first half. And a couple of stoppages for green cards, etc. So expect our time to run out before the game finishes. The umpires will stop and start the clock as they see fit. Good pressure from Forestville, and again they'll keep working and keep pushing that high line, forcing Port Adelaide to make passes they don't want. And a little slip there, because we spoke about it, it's dropped like a stone, this temperature. Forestville do turn over. They are under a lot of pressure down there, and they just have to dump that out, and Forestville will have a push in.
Smart bit of pressing
quite
from
high up
Tyson
on the
Schubert.
pitch.
Yeah, well done.
High pressure really put Port Adelaide under a lot of pressure.
It did.
It's a nice turn from Jordan Flavel. Unfortunately, it got away from him. The ball will skip along even quicker now it's cold, you would assume.
It will. You note the last overhead from Cameron Joyce, the height on it wasn't as high as a normal flick would be, and they're often the more dangerous ones, the ones that go low and fast.
Young will turn, and he's caught one on the hand, I think. Arm. Leg. It's just, I think it hurt everywhere.
He's just cold too.
I would imagine, yeah. But big strong boy, he'll shake that one off. Lovely ball down the line, and again just gets away from him, so another 16-yard hit.
Forestville have done pretty well negating Joyce.
They have. He hasn't been able to use the overhead as much as he would have liked. So that one just flicks off a Port Adelaide stick and go behind. Now, normally when we watch these games, there is a shine to the pitch, but it definitely looks to me like there's almost like a little frost coming on the top of it.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
Which is different to what we've seen before. So again, the players will have had to thought about footwear.
Oh, it's a lovely ball.
That is a great ball out to that left, and just couldn't get it under control. Hancock from Tanunda. Lovely part of the world, Tanunda. Still plays for Tanunda when he can. He'll get to play this weekend.
He will indeed, yep. Saw the ease of which Cameron can jump over that brand new painted fence.
So he's got a custom-made stick. It looks like most of a tree. Forestville again will look to build. It's a lovely little work, and 3D and just over the top. It's a lovely little drop pass, and he manages to just get in. So we saw everything good there. We saw the overhead flick, and then just a little drop pass comes back inside, and then he's managed to 3D, and then just we'll give Patrick Doug the benefit of the doubt, say he had it covered.
Yeah, a lovely little inside-out shot. They're very difficult. Nice piece of timing. It's obviously got a good eye.
And one will go out and be a Forestville ball. So this one's about done. We are all square, about a minute to go. We are all square, and barring anything, and as I say that, Johns will get his stick on the ball and find an outlet to the left-hand side, but again the interception is there. That one is just thrown away really for Joyce.
Sauskis out in
He's had a year off, Bo.
He has.
That one is just thrown in, and oh, that's unlucky. If he'd managed to get that one under control, it would have been one-on-one with the Bear.
Wonderful penetrating pass there from Cameron Joyce. I think Mark would be overly pleased with the ability to trap that.
Forestville will take the time. This one will probably be done. So there is half-time. It remains scoreless. And but neither coach will be happy, neither coach will be upset. Both have done well. The one short corner we had, the chance to see Cameron Joyce, we muffed the trap, so we didn't get to see that infamous drag flick. But been a good half of hockey, so we will step away for a short time. We'll be back with you very, very shortly.
Been a Pecker for 25 years. Club's like family now. The friends have become brothers.
Yeah, it's what winter's about, is going out and putting on your club colours and having fun with, I guess, your winter friends.
They took me on when I came over new to Adelaide. Didn't know many people, so yeah, to me they've become more like a family than anything.
It means a lot actually, it's a lot of good fun. They're a great family and just, you definitely know when the season's over and you miss them.
I travel from York Peninsula every training and on weekends to play. It takes 2 hours to get here, so back and forth. And I keep coming because I love it. I love playing for the club, I love the team.
Forestville is my escape from the stressful things in life, and I also get to have fun at the same time with heaps of mates too.
The Zulus are my family, my best friends, and lining up beside them every week means the world to me.
So what Forestville does well as a club is that they have the highest participation in Hook Into Hockey in South Australia, and we run holiday programs, so our Premier League men and women take those holiday programs for the juniors.
Foster our juniors, they come up through the ranks, they get opportunities to play, umpire, coach, and they develop into fantastic role models and human beings as well as hockey players.
A lot of our Premier League boys and our senior players actually coach in our junior teams and through the state as well. I think that's why we've got the best juniors coming through, and that's why we've got success at the Secret Hockey Club.
A lot of volunteering with SAPSARS and zone champs and all that.
So now that we've brought back juniors, we've got a number of teams. It's really re-energised the club and brought the club back to a happy place to be around.
It's like good to see other cultures out as well and like really include them in activities and trainings, and always just asking them to come out and play because that's what we're all about.
And it's not necessarily all about winning, it's about participation and enjoyment and making sure that kids come through and keep playing hockey. Play for Adelaide Uni, it means everything.
I think in terms of the club, we support each other really well. We always seem to have like the biggest crowd out on game day, and they're really vocal, which is a big benefit as a player. And I think it sort of gives us a homegrown advantage when everyone comes out and gets around us.
I've been at Grange since I was 3 years old, and to be honest, we're not going anywhere.
So I've been a part of the Premier League Women's team for 6 years now, and I've been fortunate enough to be a part of the past 5 grand final premiership wins, which was all in a row.
I think we've been in the grand final about 7 times as well. Haven't won them all, unfortunately, but yeah, to get there so many times has been fairly impressive in its own right.
I think at Port we drive such a tough culture and a resilient culture, which has allowed us to just work hard and just push through any adversity or any challenges that came towards us.
Pretty positive this year. I think we're going to do quite well. We've got a new sort of mindset, new belief system, so I think the girls have got it this year.
And we are back, and we were just talking just before the cameras came back on. This has been a very, very tight game. It's defensively, both sides are on top of each other at the moment. Neither one has, we've seen the one short corner, but other than that, circle entries really have been few and far between, and no one's really had a real attempt on goal.
Yeah, maybe the inside-out shot maybe from the Forestville player, but it has been certainly a tight tussle, battle of defences. I think both coaches will be looking for some sustained attacking pressure in the second half, and just some basics again. The 1-2 that we saw, the 1-2 touch stuff that we saw from the girls, I think maybe the boys will be looking to do something similar.
Yeah, and if we're honest as well, we could look at another men's game 2 weeks running going to one-on-ones, because they have been so evenly matched. We said third and fourth. Paul Finney obviously on a high from his win, and so he's heckling us from behind.
Yeah.
If he wants to come and join us, he's more than welcome to. But we're going to take a short break. We're going to try and warm up. We'll be right back with you with the final instalment from this PL Friday Live. We'll be right back.
See Premier League hockey in real time.
In real time.
In real time.
Good receive there by Simon Weld.
And in front of the goal now.
Every goal.
Every goal. Every goal.
The ball, penetrating run, open circle, 1-2 play.
Every save.
Every save.
James Mitten has the opportunity. Great save.
Get straight into the circle, off a stick, and well saved by Amy Hammond.
Every tackle.
Every tackle.
Gets the attack into the circle. Nice tackle there.
Live.
Right here on Hockey SA.
right here on Hockey SA.
Runs with pace. Into battery 2. Looks for a quick shot off the back post.
Near 25 here.
Get around it.
Get around it.
And we are back. I did say we would try and answer some of Henry's questions. Henry's a rugby boy, a friend of mine. He asked, can you swing a hockey club like a golf club? A hockey stick like a golf club?
Well, you can. It's probably not the advised technique, but yeah, probably a little bit more distance between your feet and the stick when making contact.
Apparently, so we have, I sent my hockey elves out to do their work. And apparently Semcar lived in England for 2 years. Loves the Premier League.
Right.
He has his Stoke City shirt that he wears, and he also has a Tottenham one.
Okay, well, Stoke's an interesting choice. They're not probably the most popular in Australia, you wouldn't have thought.
And somewhat relevant to tonight, Stoke City's ground, the Britannia Stadium, is officially the coldest football ground in England. Because it sits on top of a hill on its own. Right next to a motorway. It's a horrible venue. Much rather spend my evenings at the State Hockey Centre. So we'll see whether this one continues as the defensive battle, or whether we'll finally see one of these teams manage to get their noses in front.
Done from Haynes there.
That one comes off Port Adelaide stick and goes behind.
Did have a shout out from my good friend Grant Schubert, Olympic gold medalist, watching on in Perth, watching his cousin play here for Forestville.
Well, there we go. We are interstate. We are international as well at times. We just send us a message on Facebook. Let us know where you're from. Make sure you like the broadcast and share it so all your friends can see it. Joyce will find an outlet. There's that two-touch hockey that you were talking about and how quickly that got them going. He unfortunately then had to put his stick on it and wait. Jamie Alisauskis is saying I would like to hear me say Bo's last name, but I'm not even going to go.
Alisauskis.
I got Alisauskis. That one comes off Burgess's foot. I think we have a couple of Burgesses out there. Do we have, or just one?
Oh, it's a great ball from Cameron Joyce.
It's managed to find its way through a lot of people. He's turned him inside out and gone down that baseline. And they will get a long corner from that one.
Like a little set play there from the long corner.
And they'll come back to Joyce. He'll get his head up and see whether he can pick a pass, but it's incredibly crowded. It's incredibly crowded there, and his options weren't great. Didn't really have any other option than to just throw it forward and hope somebody got something on it.
Yeah. Maybe bought a bit narrow there. It'd be good to see some width on the outside so they're facing in on the receive rather than away from the goal.
Young will try and fire a pass down that line, and unfortunately it's just in front of everybody. Half time and days on nights like tonight is always tough. You've got to stay warm. Can't see from down here, but do you think they went inside, or?
Yeah, I think most of them would have, or both teams I think would have gone into the change rooms at half time.
Ball might have gone missing. We can't see where it's gone, but everyone's waiting for us.
Yep. There it is.
Nice interception. He was brave there because he saw the backswing for the stick. So he was brave to go in, and that one is fired across and goal! And there it is, and that is Jordan Flavel, the co-captain, who found himself at the right place at the right time. It was thrown across, and Flavel managed to just hang around on that back stick, and that has broken the deadlock, and that might open this one up.
Lovely ball from Tyson Schubert. I think Mark Victory will be pretty disappointed with the just a turnover in the midfield there. I'm not sure who the player was. He needed to throw his body into that contest, but he put his stick in instead. Good steal and lovely rebound finish. Well done, Forestville.
So that has broken out, and that will mean that Port Adelaide have to come out now. So this one could open up now, and might see Forestville able to hit on the break. Stumps that one forward, but Port Adelaide had enough back. Big swing of the stick. It's come off a foot though, so Port Adelaide will be able to go. Comes all the way out to Dylan Edge. So you think as good as defensively as Forestville have been, but they don't want to sit back too much.
No, certainly not. I think keep playing the way they're playing. I think they've done very well. I spoke about their front group pressing well to stop Joyce with the ball over the top, but also their positioning of their back group. Stayed at a very good distance, looking to also be on the end of that intercept if it does go over.
So we have Larissa Just is watching from Germany, supporting Forestville.
Very nice.
So we go worldwide on these PL Fridays. Forestville will make some inroads with Young, who just lifts that one over.
Well done. He's got Jermaine there.
No, he just come off his foot. So. Yeah. Joyce will slide that one through. He's threaded the needle there. And they'll go one more down that right-hand side. And he picked it up, but Josh Hancock just managed to get in the way of it. That allowed them to get back there. Wonderful accuracy from Joyce. So that one will just slip down the right-hand side to Johnson. He'll get into that circle. He was looking for a foot, didn't get one.
Certainly looking for a corner there. Just lost the handle.
So it's about whether Port Adelaide now can just find that final pass, which they've been struggling to find for most of this game, because Forestville defensively have been very good. And now we see Young, pretty much as he did the last time we saw him come out, starting to range forward and make himself a nuisance as that one comes into the circle again. We are playing an advantage here. It's going to come out. No, his wave play on. Now there's a whistle. Port Adelaide will have the free hit. Looked like he thought about a short corner and then decided to play on.
I think he played some advantage there. The ball fell into a dangerous area. Well done, Cameron.
Again, he's found a lovely pass. That's a good ball, and there are options now. That's a nice reverse ball, and Port Adelaide look as if they could level it. But that's some good defensive work. I think that was Wilson.
Wilson.
Managed to get a stick on it.
Yep. Again, just goes to show basic skills at speed. He just had to two-touch it.
And that one is intercepted by Burgess. Robbins has gone quickly, just trying to get it out of his feet, which he does very well. Now he gets in. Now he'll throw it across the front. And again, there's a stick from Forestville. Anywhere is good enough there. Joyce will look to launch it back in. He decides he's going to have a little go on his own. Finds it, but short corner. That looked like it went in. Must have come off a post. Let's see whether we can see anything on the replay. But this ball from Joyce just found the stick. And then he's got him for deliberately going behind. It certainly looked like it went into us.
Yeah, I think.
But, well,
great piece of play from Joyce, wasn't it? I think Paul would be disappointed. The Forestville coach just have played a good brand of hockey and now just started to fall right away. Gave Port the opportunity.
We shouldn't be surprised though about Joyce. He's a current Hot Shots player. He's played Australia A against New Zealand.
Yep, Junior World Cup.
Highest goal scorer in HSA. And another police officer.
Yes, just joined, I think, this year.
I was going to say he looks young. Still looks fresh. He hasn't got that grizzled look in his eyes. And there is that drag flick, and there is the goal. So Sam Carr managed to get his foot to it, but he just couldn't get the pace off it, as we see again that drag flick, which is incredibly quick. Good work to our camera operators to keep up with it.
That was very good.
See the overhead from Wilson. Just couldn't control it. Fortunately for him, there was no one to capitalise on that, and they'll be able to rebuild from there. So we are back to square one with about 25 minutes to go.
Just again shows the beauty, doesn't it, of having a lethal penalty corner injector. Oh, sorry, a flicker in your team. Injecting as well, obviously so important as well when you've got a weapon like Joyce that makes sure that the push out comes straight. We saw from the first one that they were unable to capitalise with Joyce.
What comes across, and Joyce again will look to launch from the back, and again he picks out a stick. His accuracy from long distance is incredible, and Port Adelaide will get the free hit just outside. Billy Robbins working down again in that right hand corner. Something we see as well quite often is he was playing on this side in the first half, and he stays over this side for the second half. Sure, they're in cahoots with the coaches. Leave me on the TV side, please, coach. So Johns will restart Port Adelaide, and they'll come back to Robbins. He'll slide that across again. Good challenge though. Freeman managed to get his stick in the way. He'll get his head up. He hasn't got much in front of him, so he goes backwards. Port Adelaide have managed to turn it over high up though, and he has the outlet, but he doesn't want it. He goes across, right in front, across the goal, and that famous Port Adelaide contingent that we've heard all about. Let's out a groan just to my left-hand side.
Absolutely.
Again, he's found a nice pass, but they managed to get hold of it. He got hold of it and then lost it. Oohs and ahs again to the left-hand side. I'm not sure whether they're watching the hockey or a firework display.
Port have certainly got the ascendancy this last 5 minutes.
They must capitalise on this pressure, though.
Absolutely.
Forestville need to settle down. Wilson's a good person to have.
Oh, well done, Haynes. It's a very good intercept. Read the play well there.
Some good stick work again. And again, they're going to get a circle entry. And there will be another short corner. And again, the spectre of Joyce will loom forward.
Yep. Victory calling the corner down here, just in front of us.
I mean, there wasn't much he could have done about the last one. You could have had 4 goalkeepers in there. And
very hard, especially the ones that skid like that. On a night like this in particular, as you said, the pitch looking a little bit icy. Does make it very difficult for the keeper.
So Joyce will set up again. Talk about variations. There's no real need for a variation when you've got somebody as dangerous as Joyce. There it is again. There it is again. But they managed to get in the way of it. And that's one flashed over the bar.
Haynes found himself in a position probably not accustomed to there, but they're the ones you want to hit into the ground first.
Yeah, he just swung at that one and couldn't keep it down, unfortunately. The big overhead flick there. Just couldn't get that under control. Tyson Schubert had a go with it. But as this game has gone on, the Port Adelaide crowd has grown into it. They're starting to get involved. There's a short interception there.
Joyce starting to stamp his authority on the match. Pressing from Schubert.
Just lost that control. It's gone quickly. Needed a call there, didn't get one.
Haynes also had an excellent 5 minutes where he's made a few intercepts and fed the midfield.
He's turned it back. Fortunately for him, one of his teammates can pick it up and go to Joyce. Wilson again. He needs to get his stick on the ball a lot more.
Agreed,
Forestville are going to get out of this.
He's searching forward now.
That's
Here
a
we
lovely
go.
little turn, and
There he is.
he's got Wilson. Wilson versus Johns. Wilson will fire it across.
Oh, it's a lovely bit of play, Curtis Wilson.
Sam Freeman was inches away from putting Forestville in front. Would have been a goal against the run of play, but it is the time for Forestville and Wilson and Young and Burgess to start putting the stick on the ball, and they've been under a lot of pressure over the last couple of minutes. So
Bo, the crowd favourite in this right pocket.
Bo Alisauskas.
Perfect.
I practice. Now Forestville, he'll just put his head down and off he'll go. Needs to keep going though. They found the outlet, well, nearly found the outlet. Will be a Forestville ball though. Well, we see Port Adelaide will crowd that defensive area. He'll find Wilson. Wilson will put his foot down and off he goes.
See the impact he's had the last few minutes. As you mentioned, Dave, he's done the captain's role and got himself involved.
Could be a mini break on here. Forestville have done well to intercept that and dispossess him. He'll look out to Young. Young is another player who's going to have to sort himself out and get his head down. Forestville again looking for that circle entry. They get to the baseline, lifted it up. I'm going to try and keep it in there. There was an appeal for a short corner, but they get a long corner. It was only a half-hearted appeal.
Good entry just around the T-point there, looking for a corner. Little lift, 3D skills around there, critical.
Hush descends over the Port Adelaide faithful to our left as they feel themselves under a little bit more pressure now. He's done well.
Probably
Jordan
a free hit there.
He wasn't going to get one, but he kept going. Manages to keep him going, and Young will be out there on that right-hand side. He needs to pick a pass now, because again, the black and white wall is there, and he's found the pass through. And there is still bouncing around in there.
Ooh.
Long corner. I thought that was, I thought they had a shout for a corner then.
Close.
Big Cameron Joyce just leaning into him, easing him off the ball. That one pops up and Forestville will go again. Good pressure by Port Adelaide. They'll go out to Young and he'll try and get round that outside, which he does, and now he's going to try and swing it back. Now they get their short corner. Joyce doesn't agree.
Might be a height issue that he's asking for, but I think that's probably fair enough.
Joyce has to be careful asking for height issues. His knees are the same height as most of people's waists.
Maybe that's his argument, Dave.
On anybody else, that would be their navel.
Yeah.
So this is our first chance, I think, to see Forestville. So Curtis Wilson has seen what Joyce can do. He has to either equal it or be better. Good trap, and there is Wilson, and it's come off a stick, so it'll be a long corner. Well, that's interesting from Luke Larwood. Almost did like a mini hacker. Not entirely sure what was going on there, but
I think a little bit of smack talk running down his corner.
Whatever it was, he was happy with it.
Yeah.
So they'll come back to Young. That's intercepted, and there is a break on here. They are 2-on-2. Forestville are chasing back, and Forestville managing to get the numbers back, and they'll outstart. They've done very, very well, Forestville. Real long corner, but they did well getting in the way of that.
Dynamic piece of play from Scotty Germain, the port captain there. One of the most composed players in the competition. But certainly well handled with counter control from Forestville.
Again, they get that interception. So we are 14 minutes away from this one. Going to one-on-ones again. So he'll go to himself and come all the way back to Billy Robbins. Robbins will go across to Joyce, and Joyce will have a look and try and pick a pass, which he normally does, and he does again. Young will come away from that and work inside, and thought about the pass and then finds the other one, and they are out of this, but he just couldn't get it under control.
Well done by Billy Robbins.
Billy will get the accolades from the Port Adelaide faithful.
Just wonder whether Brother Mark spoke to Cameron at half-time and asked him to be a little bit more penetrative. It's certainly been effective in the second half.
When we get good enough to get the Opta indexes up here, it'll be interesting to see what Cameron Joyce's completion percentage is on the passes. I don't think he wastes much possession. Sure, if we set Darren Nimke the task, he could give us a pie chart for it.
He loves his numbers.
But he hasn't. He doesn't seem to waste the ball at all, does he?
No. And certainly, if you've given that much time and you're a quality player, as I was saying earlier, you should hit the target.
Talking about hitting the target. Well, he worked very well, but again, Port Adelaide will be petitioning Hockey SA to make these goals 2 foot taller. A couple of times they flashed it over the top. So Forestville have weathered the storm somewhat, but they must do something and get it out. Otherwise they could find themselves going a goal down again. So you get the feeling that Forestville are holding on at the moment.
Yeah, I do. I think it's always a dangerous way to play. Just always play to your structures.
So Young will try and bring it out. He has a question to the umpire, but the umpire dismisses it and says play on. Hockey Karma gives him the push in from right about where he thought the free hit was going to be. We agree. We talked about first hit hockey at half time, but when you're playing first hit hockey, the pass has to go to somebody.
You have to have that awareness. You have to rubberneck or be on the angle where your body can see ahead of the play.
And that one, if he'd managed to keep his feet, he would have been all right. Keeper comes and will kick it away, and he just lost his feet.
Yep, I think as you were saying earlier in the first match, that sheen on the pitch.
Looks like he's got those shoes with the bobbles on them. You can't really call them cleats or sprigs, can you? Young will try and find a pass.
It's a good receive. Bouncing ball.
It's a tough one. Josh Kennewell asking whether that's only the first mention of rubbernecking. Is that a thing in Woodville training, is it?
Certainly. Josh will be almost sick of hearing that one already with the rubberneck.
Well, Adelaide will look to attack now, and he beats Young. He'll look out onto that right-hand side, but he can't get through. That's nice work from the Forestville defender. Rather than lashing away, Hutchins just let it run across him.
Josh will also know that backhand shave pass is one of my pet hates, when you can give it on your forehand. Do the discipline thing there, and Port would have been in for a goal shot, I think.
That's a little bit too much, a Lynch. Well, looked a bit high, but umpire said play on, and Port Adelaide will get the long corner. Again, it'll come out to Joyce. And again, Joyce finds his pass, and another circle entry on the back of a Joyce pass. And that one has come in, and there is another short corner. That one's just come off Paul Lynch's foot. So this is interesting, actually. It's the first time I've seen this tactic. Normally the players themselves will discuss the short corner routine. This is the first time I've seen a player come and get the routine from the coach.
Obviously had a look at what the Forestville defence is doing, but as you say, with a weapon like Joyce, sometimes hard to resist going past that, isn't it?
There are the fans rugged up against the cold night air. Wonderful coffee though from the Pines Cafe. It's kept us warm in the second half.
Certainly has.
So let's see whether Port Adelaide can do better than the last one. There's a shift, there's a late shift in the trap. There's the drag flick, there's the goal. Burgess was straight down the pipe, but just got beaten. It was a late shift. Burgess just picked his feet up.
Clever variation there from Mark Victory, just shifting to the far battery, changing the angle, and with the keeper offsetting, that side of the goal was open.
It's a very late shift. Complimenting your brother on the live broadcast as well.
Oh, it's good coaching. It's as you say, it's important to. I think you get to see as a coach what the corners defensively they're running, and if you can see a weakness, you use your variation to negate that.
So with less than 10 minutes to go, Port Adelaide go 2-1 in the lead. Forestville now have to come out. There was a little bit of afters again after that short corner as well, though. Possibly something Mark Victory will have to work on. Just a little bit of discipline issues.
Agreed. It's always interesting mentally now what opposition players do. Oh, it's a yellow for Harry, I'm sure, here. Maybe green.
There's another green one. He's still having a chat with him, though. So he'll come and sit down for 2 minutes. So Wilson really needs to lift now. He's got Young on his outside if he wants him, but he decides he's going to go. He throws that into the circle. Young will push it across the front. It's still bouncing around there. That's off the post.
The scramble and a
off
corner.
Off the post and a short corner. It looks as if Forestville wanted a little bit more than a short corner. He's asking for something. I don't know whether he's saying it went in, but
he's saying he deliberately knocked that over the back line, I believe is why he's blown a corner.
I think he was asking for a little bit more than a corner. So Curtis Wilson again will set up, and we will see the battle of the drag flickers again. A battle that Cameron Joyce is winning 2-0 at the moment.
as you mentioned, a bit of discipline with Harry Johns off, numbers 10 to 11. Forest will find themselves with a corner.
Put themselves under all lots of pressure. There's the injection, and there's the shift. Flicks it to the back post and just couldn't get it under control. Was there. Sam Freeman was lurking at the back.
He was. I wouldn't say that was Connor Hutchins' best flick, but certainly still the ability to finish it off the second post.
And the injection speed was noticeably slower than the Port Adelaide one.
Yep.
It didn't give Wilson as much time as Joyce gets. Even with the late shift, the injection was good enough for Joyce to, oh my word. Because he overhead flicks that basically to the opposite 25.
Yeah, it's very well controlled.
Wilson will get his stick on the ball again. He'll look out to the right hand side. Hutchins will throw it down the line and just couldn't get hold of the ball. 5 minutes to go. Port Adelaide leading this by 2-1. Looking to do the Friday night double.
Yes.
Winning both the televised games. Again, that overhead flick.
It almost did look like a golf swing, that one.
So Forestville have thrown a lot forward now. They've still got 4 back, but everybody else is forward, and they've still got that man advantage for now. Come out to this left-hand side. And said it caught him in the knee, but umpire begs to differ. Joyce comes through the back, and there'll be another free hit. They've got this well covered.
Straight in.
See what he was doing, just trying to roll around that man. He just unfortunately didn't have his stick on the ball or anybody backing him up. There was someone there, but
Paddy Dodd sauntering and taking his time to get to the ball. Very clever.
he ran for the last one, and I did wonder why.
Yeah.
Cheney's obviously managed to get a signal on. Probably the first loose pass we've seen from Joyce. So Forest will have to build again. 3 minutes to go. They'll be aware of the time. Just again, couldn't bring it under control, but they have the push in.
Might be time to get a bit creative with your structure. There's a couple of things you can do. You can lose your keeper and play without, or
I haven't seen that yet. I'm looking forward to seeing that. The kicking back.
Stats do say that you often get scored against, unfortunately, when you
Well,
do that. But you can play without your sweeper as well, which is often a good tactic, and play with an extra forward.
I think you're more likely to see the kicking back in knockout competition because goal differences could come into it.
Absolutely.
So you'd rather have a one. Oh, not only did he fall over, I think he caught the ball as it came down, but Young will look and he will just send it out to that right-hand side, and Forestville again will look to inject an entry. That one's come off the foot. Be a long corner anyway. Would have been around the same position either way around. Again got that circle entry, but they managed to get out of it. Well, Port Adelaide will just dump it anywhere. There's 2 minutes to go. Sam Carr has to work to go and get it anyway. He's working hard, the bear back there now. So 2 minutes left. Port Adelaide managed to get a stick on it, but they'll just turn it over there, and Young will go quickly. He'll fire it across the front. Nobody got a stick on it. And Port Adelaide will again take their time.
And be looking for to flick into a deep pocket here, I'm sure.
He'll be in no rush to find his player.
Outside, yep. Billy down here.
Well, that turnover might put them under a little bit of pressure.
Well done.
Young Young has turned it over, but there's no one there. He's just going to have to try and find and dump it into that corner, which he does. Billy Robbins will now go on, and he'll take that first one off. But there is a foot there. Again, they won't be in any rush.
Ought to be keen to just hold it in this right-hand pocket here.
About a minute to go. No rush, and the captain puts his stick on the ball and then puts it out. Johns is back with us after his little break on the naughty chair. It is do or die now for Forestville. Wilson does well. Dummies and puts Johns up in the air, and now there's that big overhead flick. First one misses, but second one doesn't. He'll find an outlet. Forestville have 20 seconds to get it up the other end and try and get a shot on, but they've turned it over, and Port Adelaide could get a final entry, and that one will roll away. So Forestville fast running out of time. I mean, this would be impressive if they could get anything there. Surely it just reaches a point now where everyone in a blue shirt just goes into the circle and you throw it in there. There it goes. But then Port Adelaide managed to get over it, and that will be that. So Port Adelaide will win this 2-1. The Magpies do the Friday night double. Cameron Joyce probably was a major part of that with his drag flicks. Two drag flicks from two short corners, and the big difference between the two of them, really. But good game of hockey. And
what's a good game of hockey? I think the penetrating passes also from Joyce with a key in that second half.
Be a happy Victory household tonight.
Absolutely.
So Mark Victory gets the victory. Port taking the biscuits 2-1 after the women took out the first game. We'll be back with you next week, the long weekend, and then on the bank holiday Monday we will have the under-13s zone championships. We set to see the future of South Australian hockey from a very, very chilly State Hockey Centre. From Craig Victory and me, Dave Webb, thank you for joining us tonight, and we will speak to you next week.